Hello, welcome back. In today's video, I want to talk about how Amazon and e-commerce in general are changing and how things that worked 5, 6, 7 years ago are not working anymore. So let's get into the video. Now, first, one thing that's very important to mention is you have to have a good product. A good product is extremely important, now more than ever. Now you can be great at marketing and still get sales and still make some revenue and profit, but in the long term, your brand is not going to do well. That's just something that's already proven. Now, 6, 7 years ago, you could get away with it. Still, you wouldn't do as well as good products, but because the platforms are newer, a lot of people didn't understand e-commerce the way they do now, and customers weren't as sophisticated as they're now, you could get away with it. But nowadays, you have to have a good product, so that's paramount. But another major factor that's happened in the Amazon space and the e-commerce space is the multi-platform and omni-channel change. What does that mean? So in the last years, what you would see is someone would launch just on Amazon, do extremely well, or someone would launch just on their website, do extremely well. Now more than ever, platforms are starting to kind of become one. And what I mean by that, Shopify influences Amazon, TikTok Shop influences Amazon, and the big one is TikTok Shop here. What TikTok Shop is becoming more and more, it's a cheap distribution platform. And what do I mean by that? Now you might not make a lot of money on TikTok Shop, but what happens on TikTok Shop is the amount of traffic and intent that's starting to drive in your brand. TikTok Shop is not the best at bottom funnel where conversion happens, but Amazon is. And when they find out your product on TikTok Shop, they like it, it starts becoming viral, they start buying it. What many people tend to do is go to Amazon because TikTok Shop is a social media platform and now has an e-commerce ability in it. So many people just scroll there, see a product, they're like, okay, that's an interesting product, I'll go and buy it on Amazon. The issue here is when your product is not on Amazon, so they would see your product, they'll look for your product, smart competitors would bid on your brand name on Amazon, so when they type it on Amazon, your competitors come up and the customer will buy them. That's a smart strategy, right? So that's where you need to be. You need to be on TikTok Shop and you need to be on Amazon because these platforms together work very well. So it's the same with Shopify. You're doing advertising on Meta and having a website that combined with TikTok and Amazon, it's a trifecta that's extremely powerful. That's why the smart brands nowadays are thinking more about MER, which is marketing efficiency rate. It basically tracks your total efficiency rate when it comes to marketing in all the platforms. Example, total ad spend on all platforms and total revenue on all platforms combined. So you understand what's your actual return combined. Because if you just look at Amazon, that's great, but you also need to look Shopify, your website, or you need to look TikTok Shop as well, because a lot of the times you see they're working together. And more specifically, Amazon to TikTok Shop. That's a big one. Because as I mentioned before, products that do very well on TikTok and start getting that traction, start getting those sales, start getting those views, a lot of that traffic goes to Amazon because Amazon is still the number one trusted platform in the space. I cannot emphasize that enough. It is the number one platform and it is the king of bottom funnel, which means conversion. TikTok Shop is great for top of funnel, discovery, and creating intent. Amazon is great at capturing it because they have the prime, they have the credibility, they have 2 decades of e-commerce experience, so they really understand how to convert clients. So use these things. It's very important to use these two platforms if you can. Website is a bonus, of course, but if you can get at least TikTok Shop and Amazon right, you can do extremely well. I've seen brands do well on TikTok Shop and organically do very well on Amazon. Now you add ads and strategy behind it, they really explode. Can you still do very well on Amazon? 100%. We see it all the time. We work with over 20 brands on Amazon, so we see a lot of brands just being on Amazon and doing very well. But when TikTok comes along, and if you can do well on TikTok, that's a major part. The important part here is though, if you're doing TikTok Shop, is to have the right strategy and to have the right product, of course. What we see many times is on TikTok Shop, super expensive product don't do as well. Now you have Shark and Ninja that are doing well, but they're also very established brands. But a lot of the more expensive products don't seem to do that well on TikTok Shop, which I believe will change. You're not caring here to do well on TikTok Shop. You're caring more about how much traffic and intent and demand can I create on TikTok Shop so that can transfer in my other channels. Because even if you don't do extremely well on TikTok Shop, you're starting to get some searches and search volume on Amazon, and that is paramount. That's where you make the real money there. But as I said, TikTok Shop strategy is incredibly important. You want to make sure that you have the right affiliates, a team of affiliates that you can train so they can understand what your product does. Consistent volume of videos all the time and GMV max behind it so it can really push it and emphasize more. You have to have these things right. So when it comes to the Amazon strategy, and that's where we specialize in, you want to make sure that first your brand name, you own it like crazy. If your brand is called White Blue, you want to make sure that you're dominating that search term. So all the traffic that's coming from TikTok or from Meta ads, you're dominating it. You don't want to see the competitors showing up before you. You want to make sure you're competing. And of course, you convert best for it because they're looking for your brand specifically. You want to dominate your brand name as much as possible and defend it. These campaigns are called brand defense campaigns. You want to have them from a keyword standpoint and you want to have them from a product targeting standpoint. So when someone comes into your product and they go down in the product pages, they see you as well. You want to be absolutely everywhere where your product is mentioned. And of course, you also want to have the manual, broad phrase, exact keywords, product targeting, product competitive targeting, sponsored brand, sponsored display, sponsored brand video, which is doing better and better. You want to have all of these as well on top of brand defense campaigns. If you have all these things right and a good product, TikTok Shop and Amazon, your brand can really explode. I've seen in the last year a lot of brands doing crazy numbers, 8 figures in sales, profitably, and scaling a lot more. But to really simplify this, just think about it as one channel. TikTok Shop, Amazon, your website, Shopify, whatever you're using, they're starting more and more to work together. So don't stop the Meta ads, don't stop the TikTok Shop, don't stop the Amazon ads. Just build your brand and make it more and more omni-channel. It's not just about one platform, it's how all of these platforms help each other. And make sure you have the right strategy for each, because if you do, sky is the limit. I hope you like this video, a lot more to come. Stay tuned.